space is a place for us.
Real people with real issues.
Discussing real topics.
Black space.
A safe space for our community.
I believe we have some really good, insightful answers to that question. But before we get into that, I want to ask you if you're keeping up with current events, how you felt about hearing about Stacey Dash's arrest. Did you hear anything about that today?
I feel like Stacey Dash thinks that she has white privilege.
Yeah, that's really astute. There you go.
Yeah, like that's really all that I have. I mean, I think she really and truly expected a different response when she called the cops on her husband.
I'm gonna go
which husband is this?
Number 3?
It's not 4?
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm Googling it right now. I didn't even know. Sorry.
So just really quickly, Jason, what happened was she got into a physical altercation with her husband in Florida, I think it was. Was it Florida?
Yeah.
And she called the cops on him saying that he was choking her. But then the cops came, and I guess because she was defending herself, there were scratch marks on his arms or whatnot, so they arrested her instead of him. So that's
Guess you're really black, huh, lady?
Yeah.
Well, in other news, Amber Geiger, the ex-cop who killed Botham Jean, is found guilty. How y'all feel about it? Did y'all hear about that today? She was found guilty.
I actually did hear about that one today.
Yeah. Stand your ground did not work.
I mean, how can stand your ground work in it's not your house? Texas has a castle doctrine, right? Castle meaning your domicile, your car. He was in his house eating ice cream. You can't stand your ground in somebody else's house.
No.
Yeah, I'm glad. So it was
interesting to see the sentencing though.
They're going into day 2.
Yeah.
But although I'm glad she was charged. I was surprised because I had been saying all along that she was going to walk. Not that I wanted that, but that was just, the precedent is set. White people get off.
Well, I think the makeup of the jury helped that. There was a very diverse jury. I think there may have been 2 white people actually on that jury. And I also think from a city PR standpoint, they did not want to see what the backlash would have been if she was not found guilty. I think even the jurors felt that type of pressure.
Right.
It's good.
Good point.
We had some good news today, some funny news today. And now we're preparing to celebrate our favorite things about being Black. Black Space is a group created to be a safe haven where we can discuss how we feel about the world around us, the things going on within us, and just what it means to be a person of color or to be Black or to be of African descent. And so instead of always thinking about what we need to do better or criticizing what's not going well or what we're not all doing well, we want to start off celebrating what we really enjoy about the Black experience and what makes it something that we want to preserve and hold on to and pass down to our children and celebrate even here on Facebook as a group together. So there's so much about being Black that we all love. It's really almost impossible to narrow it down to one thing, but I think we've done a good job of coming together and picking some of the best ideas that we had and putting forth what we believe represents a holistic view of Black excellence and what we really enjoy the most about being Black. So starting with Jason, what's your favorite thing about being Black?
I think for me, it's Black influences everything. My wife and I were able to take a trip to Egypt this summer, and just to see the true story, right? We hear a lot of things, but to see it and touch it, to go in the museum and see that ancient Egyptians look like me, to see that, 9,000 years ago, there were right angles created and they still use that same technology in surveying to see that they told you that the Romans created the columns, but they were columns in Egypt thousands of years before the Colosseum was built. So Black influence is everything, and to see it firsthand, I think we're told so many stories and we believe the stories that we're told, but to see it, to touch it, to breathe it, to feel it is just amazing.
Yes. Rock, did you have anything to add to that particular point?
He nailed it. I think I could add, but why add to that? He nailed it. It's I love your favorite thing about being Black. I respect that, and I applaud that. That's one of my favorite things too. You know, but what I would say as far as my favorite thing would be our resilience, because in addition to all of the things that you said, as far as our creativity, our ingenuity, we've also dealt with a great deal of oppression and a great deal of terrorism, a great deal of enslavement and other toxic and disharmonious and unjust matters, but we've continued to be resilient in the process. We keep coming back and creating and being a culture of ingenuity while we're also being oppressed and diminished and subjugated and victims of terrorism. So yeah, that's one of my favorite things, our resilience.
Yes, yes. I realized early on I was blessed. I grew up in Detroit in the 80s where everything was Black. Let me say quickly, Perul is on her way back. She's having some technical difficulties, but she will be returning.
Good.
Yes, I'm grateful. But in Detroit in the 80s, in magnet schools, I got a lot of Black history and exposure to Black culture. And I was really impressed by how we just wouldn't die.
Right.
And no matter what happened, we just wouldn't die. We didn't give up. We were always resilient. We always found a way. And it made me very proud to be Black. They didn't have to tell us to be proud. All they had to do was expose us to the information. And you were just so impressed. I mean, what they were able to do with so little, what they were able to do against such insurmountable odds. Right. Like I felt compelled to make something of myself and do something with my life because the people who had come before me were just so resilient. They refused to be forgotten or denied in the most grotesque situations. And so it just makes me enjoy and appreciate the Black experience that much more because the resilience of Black people is just the foundation for everything that we do. Okay, Perul is back. Yes.
Oh yeah.
Somebody had to come back and make sure that we
need some
track.
Right.
Some balance.
Some balance. As much as we're supposed to. We don't want to get too serious and sound like this is Black Space Live for Encyclopedia Britannica. So hey, Perul. Welcome back.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here.
Okay, what's your favorite thing about being Black, girl?
I love the level of communication that we have without communicating. I love being able to telepathically connect with everyone else in the room of color. Like, I think we were discussing the example that, you know, we can go someplace and like, let's say we all love food and I know I'm greedy. And if I have some food and it's good and I feel it in my soul and I start dancing and singing and the person at the next table, they probably have the same plate or they just like my jam. They start dancing and singing along with me. Like there's just that connection that we have, that happiness together, that soulfulness that we have with one another. I don't see that with anybody else. I don't. Like I can say that with different races, there are a lot of things that they have that connect them, but they don't have that spiritual soul connection like we do. No matter where you're from, if you have some pigment in your skin, you're one of us, we are connected.
We're connected and we know it's safe and it's okay. I have almost been put out of so many IHOPs, Denny's, other places of recreation and revelry, just for singing too loud with strangers, because somebody felt like the theme song to the Jeffersons was just appropriate out of nowhere.
When is it not appropriate?
Somebody just got out of choir
Exactly.
rehearsal. Sometimes people would get out of choir rehearsal and they would be singing something, and then we'd hear it at the next table over, so we'd join in because everybody know their part. You know, the entire restaurant is singing total praise, and white people just sitting there like, oh, they don't know what to do. They don't know what to do, because they're like, we knew that they all knew each other.
And we don't.
Related, because how can you do this at the drop of a dot? We just black.
We're connected. We are just
What
connected.
we do. It's just what we do.
Yeah.
And then the body language.
Yes.
The conversations that Black women have without saying one word.
I could just be like, exactly what I'm saying.
Complete and total strangers. I have put other women on game. I have been put up on game. We have said thank you. Entire conversations.
I think that's just a Black woman conversation, because we never know what y'all mean by it.
I'll do it sometimes too.
Y'all make the face, and we'll think it's, oh, she mad. Oh, she's hungry.
That's just girl.
She good. We don't know.
When Black women do it, we reach out to help, because there's a certain care that we put into our looks. I mean, sometimes we share looks with white women where white women be trying to mind their business. Black women are, we're just kind of quietly meddling and judging and doing whatever, or making sure that we have our escape route together. Whatever we got to do, we're going to go ahead and reach out.
Exactly. We all good.
Like, sis, did you see that? Honey, did you smell that? Did you hear that? We're looking out, because there might be a need to do something. In fact, it goes right along with what you're saying. Somebody might run. Right. And I have to be ready. Why? Because I love that when one Black person runs,
we got
to go.
Don't ask no question.
Right.
Everybody gone.
Because somebody already exchanged looks before somebody took off, because we're not crazy. If a Black person takes off running, looks were exchanged beforehand. Somebody looked like, did you? And somebody else looked like, girl, I did catch that. And then you look like, and the next thing you know, two people take off running.
Hell yeah.
Hey, we can ask questions.
Meanwhile, Tom over there is like, what is going on?
What is going on over there?
Like, why are they running?
Because we're smart.
Right.
That's how they get got.
Yeah.
I'm not. You can't have a horror movie with Black people that are authentic. Why? It's a 15-minute horror movie. We all left.
It's like mental telepathy. It's like
the monster went and killed somebody in the deep suburbs because all the Black people went home. They said, did y'all hear that? So a couple people looked. They heard the growl again. We packed it up just like the purple. Time to go.
True.
And left.
That's absolutely right.
That's true.
Because we're connected.
Y'all like antennas.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Which brings us to my favorite thing about being Black. It's really two things. I couldn't boil it down to exactly one, but they're so intertwined that I think you'll allow it. The first thing is our propensity for spirituality.
Yes.
No matter what it is we believe, Black people just believe in the supernatural, or we're at least reconciled with it. We don't have a problem with it. We believe, and we can reconcile spirit and science without a problem.
Black Space, a safe space for our community.